I would now like to ask Kate Burke to give the valedictory address.
Chancellor Wiener, President and Vice Chancellor Kara, Dr. Otele, distinguished guests and participants, fellow students, families and friends, I am pleased to address you today on behalf of the graduating students. C'est un honneur de m'adresser à vous aujourd'hui au nom des étudiantes et étudiants diplômés. I cannot believe I'm here today. I really didn't imagine I would be here. In fact, for some long time growing up, I didn't think I could possibly enter high school, let alone university. When I came to university, I didn't know what peer-reviewed was, I didn't know what scholarly meant, and I really, really didn't know that professors did any research. I thought they were just here to teach. So, but anyway, I think that much like many people here, I had a dire need to put words onto what I was seeing and experiencing in the world, things I didn't know how to make sense of. We often hear that we can feel a bit disconnected from what we learn at school versus what we live outside of it. But I think that sometimes what we learn at school gives us so much insight as to what we've been experiencing for so many years. I grew up an odd, rural, queer nonsense of a child who was far better acquainted with the 200 goats my parents were raising in Périgord, a region in the southwest of France, than any humans besides my parents, my siblings, and my older neighbor, Eliette. I think about making sense of our worlds and what connects us today. And I think that it's really hard because we've all got such different relationships to what we've learned. We all enter the same buildings and spaces at Loyola and downtown, but our realities are so different that our connections to what we've learned is almost incomparable. One thing that does connect us today is that at some point we all felt moved or transformed throughout our time at Concordia, and that might look like different things for each of us. That might be a course that stayed with you for a long time, a professor that meant a lot to you, a guest speaker, a classmate that truly changed the way you think about the world. When I came here, I had many experiences I didn't know how to make sense of, as I was explaining. And the way I explain it is that I carried all these tingling sensations in my body when hearing certain topics, and I held anger and upset and grief and passion and hope. And I had little language to verbally express and understand these tingling feelings. So when I was surviving sexual violence, I felt so shaken. It felt like my heart and my mind were in concussion for ages. And that confusion, that incapacity to make sense of what had happened to me over these months, was one of the most painful aspects of my survival story. That was a couple of years ago, all before Me Too. And that confusion about me and the person who's harmed me and my environment and the culture around us, and the lack of access of resources to vocalize what was going on was most painful. And then later on, understanding that it was part of a broader systemic issue in this isolating, mad-making world was vital to me. And anyway, life went on, and I kept on supporting other survivors through the different and limited support options we are given in this present world. And I just kept being confronted with that same gut feeling, that same tingling feeling, like this isn't what we want, this isn't what we need. And I kept going, craving a different model of justice and another world that I didn't know existed. So when I moved to Georgia Gay, Montreal alone and started at Concordia, I was still very much craving words onto feelings. And it is at Concordia that I was given the immeasurable gift of language over tingling sensations. I was guided toward thinkers and organizers, theories and languages that articulated what I didn't know how to say or even to begin to think about. I learned about transformative justice, and I really want to thank Dr. Nathalie Betreville for this. And I got to engage in community and even do some research for organizations who saw the same views. Universities back then felt so unattainable, and I frankly didn't understand how useful university knowledge really was to our daily life. But then we were gifted knowledge and perspective, and we got to share them with people who looked for them too, outside of school. Ce que je souhaite donc dire, c'est que c'est par mes études universitaires que j'ai eu l'immense chance de pouvoir verbaliser ce que je savais dire, ni même parfois vraiment comprendre à propos du monde, de mes intérêts, de mes expériences et de ma vie passée. Il me semble que l'un des cadeaux les plus inestimables que l'Université de Concordia nous a transmis est le fait de nous doter d'outils, d'espace et d'opportunités pour pouvoir poser les mots sur divers aspects de nos vies, de nos communautés respectives et de notre société. Ces outils nous permettent de nous comprendre autrement, de nous transformer et d'effectuer d'autres transformations dans nos entourages. So I want to thank endless members of the Simone de Beauvoir Institute, Department of Sexuality Studies and Women's Studies, who've supported me and from whom I've learned unbelievably much. I want to thank SDBI Coordinator and Sexuality Studies Advisor Marianne Lopez, Professor Dr. Gada Marous, and Professor Dr. Nathalie Coito, for showing me that you value me before I could value myself, and encouraging me in many ways to take on different opportunities at Concordia. Lastly, and for nominating me. Lastly, in the crowd, I want to thank Florencia Balejo, my first friend in so-called Canada, who taught me so much about intersectional feminism, and my beloved roommate and chosen family, Hani Shokeir, whom I always feel at home with every day anyway. I don't know about all of you, but I'm so scared to lose purpose and to forget what has shaken me and changed me here. So I'm going to propose a promise which I hope will resonate with you. So, may we never forget what transformed us. May we take these lessons and carry them out wherever it is that we're going. May we continue to be students and rethink the world and our roles within it. May we support and pave the way for others like us struggling with the heavy weight of imposter syndrome. May we rest, may we feel many moments of joy. And may we also take with us all of the grief of what things could have been had the world not been unjust, and use them as bricks, founding the worlds that we deserve to build. As community organizer Mariam Kaba said, hope is a discipline. Congratulations to every single one of us for making it through and graduating today. Thank you.
Kate, congratulations. That was a wonderful speech, and I think it left us all inspired. Thank you.